Can we once, just once, have honesty and truth in the title of this segment and actually fricking retire, not get 3 different side hustles?
Today we will be reacting to another fire video by CNBC, Make It,
okay, I guess that's
where a woman retires at 40 with $850,000 in Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah, hit play and max out the screen if you could, please. There.
Believe it or not, I was really nervous about quitting my full-time job. I had so much anxiety around it because all I've known is how to work. But I learned after seeing so many friends and family be laid off during the pandemic that no job is safe. May 31st, 2021 was my last.
So we've already got, we've got a doctor, okay. Very interesting. We can't read the diplomas in the back there. I don't know. They're out of focus. I think possibly on purpose, dear. All right. It is going. One of the first things that always tweaks my ERISA brain, all right, is that they're always under 59 and a half when they want to start taking money out of their 401k plan. So
is that what she wants to do?
We don't know yet. We're presuming at some point. I'm guessing that there's a retirement plan in here somewhere. Okay, and a doctor, because Belmont University, most likely a 403b instead. All right, but they still have
possibly some kind of pension plan too.
Right. So we're gonna. But the point is, very young, get money out, bad penalties. Play.
Last day of full-time employment. That was my last paycheck.
Goodness gracious.
Growing up, I watched family members use their hands to do jobs. So cleaning jobs, janitorial, nanny jobs. There was no job below my family. And I learned a lot from them because that taught me that you do what you have to do to take care of your family. But I also knew that I really wanted better. My mother dropped out of high school at 17. My father did graduate high school and he went off to the Marines to try to make a better life for us. I learned that I really wanted to make them proud and go to college and live the American dream, or what I thought was the American dream. I initially decided that I wanted to retire at 45 years old. I think that's a goal that a lot of us have. I want to retire at 40.
I don't know anybody.
And so I started on this path to fire.
No, just relax.
No, I'm just saying, keep going.
And I realized that times were just getting harder at work. Being a professor was a very stressful time during the pandemic. Everything moved online.
Oh, wow.
The expectations for being a perfect online teacher were at a max. Students had needs. I was homeschooling my children. There was just so much stress, and it just became a really tough situation. And I looked at my investments even during a pandemic, and I realized how much they had grown. And when I started to think about how I was spending my time and the stress that I was under, I decided that, wow, you know what? I can actually go ahead and lean fire and stop working full time earlier than I had expected with a little bit less money than I expected, and I could still fire. When I fired in May of 2021, I had accumulated $850,000 in investments.
Okay, so she's $850,000. So that's 20 some odd. That's she's gonna do this on $21,000 or something like that. Because
well, 5% would be 45-ish.
No. You take. I thought you divide it by, because like $1 million. If somebody's fire number is $1 million, I thought they need $25,000. Isn't that?
No.
Make it.
Yeah, I thought that was what the. I thought that. Well, we'll see how the math works, but this is going to be a very small annual number, and she's 41. She's not even 45. She's 41.
41.
Okay, and I do wonder what her side gig is.
And I determined that that was enough based on the fire calculation of having 25 times what you need to live on. So even though that was lower. The 850K was
25.
lower than
4%.
my number. I knew that I could still do speaking engagements. I'll still sell my book. I could do these side hustles. I have an Etsy shop, right? So I have other ways of creating income so that I knew I didn't need to have my full nest egg of $1 million to live. So 850K has been.
She's probably working harder now than she did then. She's just not getting a paycheck.
Right.
So obviously, Christopher's trigger word is retired, right?
Yeah.
Because
I'm
retirement
in compliance. Words mean something. Written words mean a lot in my industry.
Right. So that is true because you can't take a distribution unless it's certain
Yes.
things. So sometimes they do use the words of like go from full-time employment to something else, or there's a certain amount of stepping off the train, which is, the 60, 70, 80 hour a week job. So I don't know if there's another word that you would want to put in there.
I don't know, financial independence to have 3 side hustles early. I mean,
okay, well,
no, really, I don't know how you turn that into fire. How do you say that? Nothing against, I mean, it's not so much her.
There's a lot of stories that start off that I had to have 3 jobs to keep the food on the family.
Keep the food on the family.
Keep the food on the table for the family. And here this is somebody, yeah, I
yes.
know. Yeah,
okay.
You'll never let me forget that.
Nope.
No, but here you're taking one big full-time job and you are turning it into 3
side gigs.
3 side gigs. So if that's what you want, I think this is part of like if you want and you know what you're doing, then go for it. But it does feel a little bit different than everybody was like trying to get rid of their 3 jobs and just have one.
Okay, okay, wow, that's what it is. Hit play.
Fine, and my investments have continued to grow, even though I haven't contributed any more money since I early retired. My investments have grown to over $900,000. Over 50% of my investment portfolio is the S&P 500 index fund. It doesn't get any better than that. It's well diversified. It's 500 of the companies we all know and love. You can recognize them by name, and they have really been good to my portfolio. Then I would say about 25% of my portfolio is the total stock market index. So if the stock market overall is up, then my portfolio is up. And then probably the other 25% of my portfolio has a mix of bonds, some REITs, and some individual stocks in companies like Apple and Amazon.
She's probably got of anybody who's described their portfolio, I think she's got absolutely the most aggressive. Yeah, wow.
Well, she's an analytics person, so she feels comfortable with her numbers. But I mean,
okay, keep going. Yeah, this is oh my goodness.
A typical day for me starts out with, of course, getting up around 6:30 to get the kids ready for school. So I get up, make their breakfast, wake them up, get them ready.
She's got kids?
To sit with them while they have their
She
breakfast.
did? When?
So we can just have that moment to talk, and they have different
She's
schedules,
raising kids
so I
on that?
can
What?
spend time with each one before they get off to school. Then I'm able to have my tea and have a moment to think, reflect, plan my day.
She's not going to Starbucks for a latte.
To the gym, I'll come back home, make a light breakfast, and then I'll start working on whatever's important to me. Typically, that would be
all of this
maybe
before.
someone has reached out to me that has questions about their budget, or I have mentees who are starting new jobs right now.
Okay, let's pause. Okay, how?
She's like becoming a financial advisor, right? Isn't that what people are
she's
kind of
becoming a financial coach. Okay, 2 kids. How are you sending 2 kids to college on $20,000 a year?
Well, you're looking for scholarships.
But you know how those come.
But we know that is a tough to make sure that all works out.
But that's just, oh my goodness, because
but she might have the skills and stuff that if she needs to jump back full time into the market, she can.
Yeah, I guess you keep your PhD. So all right.
Out their 401k and how much should they invest in it and what is it? What else do I do in a day? I don't know. Believe it or not, the days go fast when you're fired. I live a downsized life. I really honestly do. Fast. I live in a comfortable neighborhood in a townhome. It's 3 bedrooms. It's just what we need, and not a whole lot more. But we're happy here, and I do have some things that are really special to me. and that are important to have. So I'm not saying never buy another purse, never buy another pair of shoes. I don't think that's life. That's not realistic. But your whole wardrobe, just kind of look at it and say, how much of this do I really need? Does this really bring me value? Could I be investing this money in something that's going to bring me a return? And so that's kind of how I look at it. When I was on my fire journey and I was cutting out, I literally went through...
This, though, you know, in a different era, this would be you worked till your kids were a certain age and then you stayed home with them for a while and then you might go back to work.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So you're packaging as fire because you do have a chunk of money, but you also could say, hey, I decided when my kids were this age that I really wanted to spend some time with them. So we could... Actually, what I'd really like to say is, you go, girl, this is a lot of money, good job, right? And good job about your priorities of spending your time with your kids.
Well, yeah.
But you might not really be retired your whole life.
No,
like, this is
I
like
don't
a
think
check-in in 10 years, and hey, my kids are looking at college and they don't have as many options as they want because the society's shifted or something. And maybe you get to jump back into the market and get a $150,000 job
So what was that
again.
thing you had to fill out every year for Hannah in Austin?
It was the FAFSA.
FAFSA.
You want to
right.
FAFSA.
So I went, does your FAFSA look really good
No.
when you have no income?
Well, but you have assets, okay?
But you have assets.
That's
So
when
that's
when a life insurance person shows up and says, put your assets in a life insurance policy so that it's hidden. I mean,
if that's all liquid, they're going to go, yeah, you can use all that to pay for the school. You don't get any scholarships.
So there
You
are
no financial aid
ways.
for you.
There are ways, but I would like to really say that 2025, the society is shifting, and God knows what.
She's not talking about her housing cost. She's got a gym membership. There's some. This is.
You live in a community where a gym membership is, you know.
Right, but she's still got. This is a very different one than everybody else, and she. I love the fact she's got the Lexus. She is. This woman is not buying used running shoes. No. All right. Hit play.
But yeah.
My budget line by line, and every single thing that I had, I removed it. So if I had a subscription to Audible, got rid of it. And I went to the library instead. Rent audiobooks from the library. Like, everything in that budget, I said, where can I find a substitute for this? How can I either get it for free or drastically reduce the price of it or the cost of it? And the thing about FIRE is that
And there's some, like,
you just
how hard
wanna
do you work
spend
for this?
time doing
Right,
the things
exactly.
that are
When you can
meaningful
just
to
make a little
you.
bit of a shift.
I no longer have a boss, but I still do things that are important to me. So I think that's the important concept, is that FIRE gives you choices. FIRE gives you opportunities. So I don't want anyone to think that, oh, you fire and then you just ride off into the sunset and no one ever hears from you again and you just never do anything again. No, now I'm actually living my life more fully. When I think about what's next for me, man,
But that's not where she was
there's
teaching.
just so many opportunities out there, but I want to stay grounded.
What?
I want to stay focused on my children, spending quality time with them, because that's what they want. They don't ask for things. For Christmas, they ask for 2 or 3 things at max. They want time. They want experiences. And so that's really what's next for me, planning out my travel schedule for 2022. And I'll just see where life takes me.
I do wonder. I would really want to be able to follow up with these people after a couple of years. So this was very. We got the other one, 39. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
So
there's a never-ending list of people getting side jobs in a different country. Yes, Catherine.
Yeah, so deep breath. It's the packaging of this that's really hard sometimes, right?
Yes.
It's just like amazing. You got a chunk of money, you reduced your cost, you're spending more time on the things you value. Who would argue with that at all? But the idea, have you retired at this certain age? And you should tell everybody, oh, I've retired and this is it. I would say you've hit a marker and this marker is good for you now. But hey, you might do some other things. And it's just like, not everybody can do side hustles that get them a certain amount of income, right?
No, I mean, the fact
so
that
she has opportunities to get side hustles that are
She
great.
hasn't taken any money out of it. So that means all her side hustles are covering her income.
Correct. So she's working.
So
She's working.
She's working.
She's not retired.
Correct.
Once again.
She's not doing a job where she has to be somewhere at a certain time every day.
But she's got to be working to have her play.
But she's amassed a certain amount of assets and reduced her costs so she can do this other stuff.
So, yeah, well, another retired early video. Okay, if you want to watch our other reaction videos, please, they're kind of funny. We enjoy making them. Click here. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. You understand the assignment. Like, subscribe, sign up for the newsletter, tell your friends and neighbors about us, and most importantly, do not forget to keep those cards and letters coming. Take care.